Hey, good morning, everyone. Just a friendly reminder that your OCD is not reliable. It is not a reliable voice in your mind or in your life. Um, the world exists as it is, and OCD has its own perception about what the world is. So there's always this situation and then our interpretations about it. Our OCD will spin things to make us to believe things that aren't even there. So it's not reliable because it knows your core imaginary fears. So it's going to find things in the environment that have no relevance to it and somehow craft a story to make it work in its scheme. So it's not reliable. It's just a fabrication. It's a story that it's weaving based off of neutral events. So it's very important to realize that pattern seeking within our brain that does this, that looks for ways to support its false theory. Because again, there is no meaning to anything. Like life just is. But our fearful brains like to make meaning. So next time you notice that you're having this fear response, ask yourself what stories it's creating about things that are just happening as they are. It's important to distinguish that this is the world, and my OCD has its own world, its mind world, right? So if you're looking for evidence, you're going to find it to support whatever messed up story it's making. But like it could take anything. It could make anything in your environment fearful. It can apply that same fearful story to anything, but it doesn't mean anything. It's just a story that you're attaching to neutral events, objects in this environment. So notice the patterns that it's making. Notice the assumptions it's drawing about the world. And maybe you have a contamination or a superstitious obsession about something. Your brain, if it sees that superstition, it's going to make a story around it. Like, trying to think of an example. So like, let's say you have a fear about the number 6, right? For whatever reason, you have a story around the number 6. So if you are walking out and you see a license plate with the number 6 on it, your OCD brain, of course, is naturally going to say, oh, this means something bad's going to happen. When actuality, no, that's just because your brain has been, conditioning you to see 6s as threats. But remember, OCD is conditioned to see everything as a threat. So if you can find out, okay, what are the neutral events, the neutral things that exist in the world that my OCD is making a fear response out of. It's all about observing, mindfulness, observing the things that you attach meaning to. Because in reality, 6 is just a number. And then there's our story about the number 6 and what it means, but there's no meaning to anything. So yes, it's about noticing the OCD magnifying glass, how it will find things in its environment to support its false theory, and saying, oh, that's just doing its thing again. It's making me afraid for no reason, because there's no reason to be fearful. So I hope this was helpful, and I will talk to you soon.